All right. Hey guys, what's up? So, another week, another content drop, another stream. Oh boy. So, this week is a rerun of the um, beginning 30, and then we have a couple of pilots. I can't remember their images for the life of me, so God knows I don't know their name. But anyways, let's get cracking. As always, we'll take a look at the event suit, we'll take a look at the gacha content, we'll take a look at the Twitter videos, if there are any, and then the alterations, if there are any. I don't think there are. I think this might be pretty quick. But anyways, let's get cracking. First off, we have our beginning 30 rerun. Oh, and hey, Sukiya's in here. That's a rarity. What's up, Sukiya? All right, exchange. IFS coin, beginning 30. Ho, 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 what do we got? Do I have my... Yeah, I do have my glasses. Sweet. Doesn't get much better than this. Alrighty. What do we got? So, beginning 30. Beam Vulcan. That should be... Yeah, so D minus D. It's a typical Vulcan skill. Or IWS. Unfortunately, or CIWS. They're not great. They hit like wet noodles. Their entire gimmick is around after you hit them with enough bullets, they'll stagger. And when you hit people with them, it like decreases their defense and resistances. That's like its entire gimmick. But it's just not really worth it, honestly. Statistically, we're looking at about, okay, 3,800, 3,900 shot attack, which honestly, in terms of a welfare, is extremely high. I've brought this up before, seeing it approach 4K, really, really good for a welfare, so that's aces. Melee attack is token, it's like 300 change, so whichever or. As for tags, we have 4 computers and 4 space. I've said this like almost every stream. I'm not a fan of the 4 line of tags. I think they could be way better than they currently are and do much more. So, not a big fan of them. Yeah. Thematically, on point, but... So, statistically, this is a really nice part. It has a really, really bad EX skill overall. And the tags, they're workable, but they're not amazing, you know? Okay, let's take a look at our torso. While for computers, EX skill cooldown reduced by 20%. So this is one of the very rare traits, because I think this is probably the 5th or the 6th trait in the entire game that is activated by 4 computers specifically. The EX skill cooldown reduction of 20% is absolutely solid, no questions asked there, but it is asking quite a bit with the 4 computers activation. If your build already has it, sure, go for it, but, you know, there's, in my opinion, better. Statistically, we're looking at kind of a repeat of what we saw with the head, a good amount of shot attack. This suit is sitting at about 1,500, 1,600 or so shot after conversions, which is beautiful. Those are some good numbers. It's not the best we've seen in a welfare torso, but it's a welfare torso. The fact it's over 1,000 is kind of the expected. 1,200 to 1,300 is the average range, so this is well above average. Awesome stuff. And word tags for computers again, makes sense, it's the primary tag, and pro tag, which does not make a lot of sense, thematically, yes, but based on the stat distribution of the suit, runs literally, and you know, it's the antithesis to the entire suit, because, you know, it's shot focused, but pro tag is melee, so. Alright, sure, whatever, man. Alright, let's take a look at the arms. For 8 seconds after B... Oh boy, the English. For 8 seconds after be attacked with an EX skill, shooting power boosted by 40%. Long and short, after an EX skill is used against you, for the next 8 seconds, you have a 40% shooting power boost. The shooting power boost at 40% is absolutely insane. That is the highest we have ever seen on a welfare up to this point, and it matches the highest modifier available even between limiteds and Sokais, post-alteration. However, to keep in mind, the activation criteria is you have to be attacked with an EX skill to begin with, and only for 8 seconds you get this boost. That does heavily restrict the total activation window for this skill, makes it a little risky, but that is a crazy boost, so I will give it that. it is an integrated part as well, meaning you're going to have higher stats, but at the same time, you are going to lose out on a shield slot where you could have another EX skill, traits, whatever. Overall, it's a very interesting trait. It's the first welfare with a 40% offensive mod on it. Awesome. It's very restrictive. For computers, pro tag, word tag combo again, cool stuff. And as for stats, like I said, it is integrated. The stats are going to be much, much higher than expected. We're looking at 3,200 or so melee attack, which is solid stuff. Yeah, that's packing quite a punch for a welfare. Considering as well, it's not actually a melee suit; it's a shot suit, right? So those are good numbers. As for shot, we're looking at a way healthier number. We're looking at effectively 3,000 plus shot attack, kind of like 3,100 or so. For a pair of welfare arms, that is some bonkers shot attack. Do keep in mind demerits involved include the fact you don't get access to the shield slot because it is integrated. Not really something you have to worry about in the early phases of the game by any means, because it's just not a concern early on. But once you get kind of later on in the game, you're going to care a lot more about min-maxing your trait slots out. But overall, for a welfare part, this is crazy good statistically. Word tags, one of them is workable, one of them runs completely counter to the suit's intentions and design. And the trait, very powerful modifier, but very restrictive activation. So it's a very interesting and unique part as far as welfare parts go. So that's really cool. All right, legs. IFS unit barrier awakening. Recover 48% of your health, raise your shot defense, beam resist, and resist flinching. So a very defensive oriented skill, very, keep yourself alive. I can see this being useful under very specific circumstances, but overall, you'd actually want more offensive buffs than defensive buffs. So, as far as stats go, remember, backpack and legs tend to be the lowest statistically for, like, frame parts. Well, offensively, I should add. So, don't expect crazy numbers. Over 1,000 is good. 1,500 is kind of like the really high end, and I think we've seen one frame up to this point that goes past 1,800 welfare wise. So after carry over here, we're looking at about 1,650, 1,700. So that's really good for a pair of welfare legs. Shot attack going that high, no problems. For computers, for space again, we get rid of pro tag, bring back for space. Sure, I still don't like either of those tags. So overall, very impressive shot attack for a welfare set of legs. Word tags they're not my favorite, but they're workable. And then the EX skill, it's gonna be a no from me, dog. That ain't working. That ain't working. Backpack. IFS unit combo. 39% shot attack boost for your squad. Raise beam resist of your squad by 49%. And you stun large foes more easily for a set period. That's a very unique thing to see on a welfare, so that's cool stuff. A plus Pierce, C power. So, the pros to this skill. 39% shot attack boost to your squad. That is insane for a welfare, right? You guys gotta understand that. Typically, these cap out at like 29%. This going up to 39% is crazy good value. However, obviously demerits, only C power. It's not going to hit really hard. You could put this onto a support suit, something you're bringing into 3v3s or whatever, and just benefit off that huge shot attack boost. The ability to stun large foes more easily for a set period may also be useful for newer players that lack a good way to instantly nuke down the larger bosses we run into going through story content and other stuff. So this has a lot of really neat uses. I would say this is kind of almost like a Swiss Army knife kind of skill where it can have very useful outcomes based on the situations you use in if you use it right. but overall it will fall off really hard because of that C power. But early on, this is a really baller piece, and you could even use it on, like I said, support suits just to put more steroids on your primary. That's really neat. This EX doesn't have a dash. You need to be in melee range to tag them, and it's not reliable if there's a group. Good to know. So lots of demerits for this part. Some very interesting pros for it, though. So this is definitely a mileage may vary. Really cool looking, though. All right. Oh, look at that. Our new secondary tag is Gundam type. Obviously, better for shot suits than Pro Tag, because, you know, this actually boosts shot attack. But also, on top of that, Gundam type activates a ton of really good traits. Good stuff. Cool beans. A very interesting backpack. All right, let's check out our Beam Saber. After 15 seconds pass, 28% chance to not recoil. Okay. So what this means, you get hit, there's a effectively 1 in 4 chance you're not going to get staggered. You know, no flinching. However, the 15 seconds pass can make that a little difficult, but this might be useful in stuff like Battle Circuit, where the big bosses typically don't flinch and they'll try to just hit you out of your combos, and I can understand that being a hassle. This could help. Overall, though, I don't find this really an amazing trait at the end of the day. 4 computers, 4 space. All right, we got that back. Statistically, okay. 3,700 melee attack. Not the highest we've seen, but again, this is a shot suit more than a melee suit, so it's not terribly unexpected. But still on the very high end of the skew when it comes to total melee attack on welfare parts. So cool stuff. So trait, I'm not really a fan of. I don't see a lot of mileage out of it. Stats, definitely in that higher, like top 10% bracket for welfare stuff. And tags, they're workable. All right, and our beam rifle. When in computer category, job gauge increase boosted by 13%. So this is effectively what activates 4 computers. When the map you're in is tagged with computer, 4 computers activates and gives all of your stats a 5% boost. And at the same time, this would activate where you get a job gauge increase. The main issue I have with the 4 line of tags, because I don't think I really expanded on it, is the fact we don't really have much control over the stages that we're actually playing in as we do content. Very few modes actually allow us to pick the map that we're going to be playing on, meaning you'll never really be able to maximize your 4 line of tags. So with that in mind, this trait where you're in computer category, it's a crapshoot effectively as to whether or not you're going to be able to actually use it when you're doing content. So if you build a suit specifically to use on computer maps, this specifically could be useful with the job gauge increase. And that's a whole nother thing. I don't think job gauge is useful, so to me this is a complete write-off as a part. But if you're ever not playing on a 4 computers map, this trait will never activate no matter what, right? It's not like 2 enemies are down or, you know, 10 seconds pass. This is just straight up. It just will not activate. So not a fan. 4 computers, Gundam type, like I said, good secondary tag to put on there. Statistically, 3,800. Okay. So that again puts it in that top. Actually, I think this puts in the top 5%, if not higher, for welfare beam rifles. So that's solid stuff. Good to see. So trait, complete write-off. Tags, one of them is a very powerful tertiary, very workable. And the stats for a welfare, damn good. Just shame. A lot of the traits on this are interesting. Okay. Cool beans. If you use defenders, perfect striker rate, you activate instantly and block the charge and stun. Yeah, sure. Under that one very specific singular instance, it could be really useful. I'm just saying, like, in a general use case scenario, it could be so much better than what it currently is. All right. So, as our gacha suit has a 7-star available, I'm just going to look at it in alterations. I'm not going to look at it here. There's no point. I will look at our new pilots, then we'll check out Twitter, and then pop on over for alterations. I assume the EX skill kit in this suit is going to be the exact same as the previous attribute as we've seen up until this point. but I'll wait until I see it to really make my my opinion on that. Let's take a look at the AI. So, well, Tomachi Masaryk. Alrighty, from Victory. That's why I don't recognize the lad. When one ally shot down, squad cooldown minus 12%. Very interesting. So, this could see some use in a 3v3 scenario if you have an ability to boost hostility towards a suit. But the 12% is kind of a low modifier in my opinion, considering the trigger, you know, it's kind of a death. I would assume a death would be more worth like 50% to 60% of cooldown, not 12%. This has potential to be really good if the numbers were higher, but in its current form, it's more of like a novelty. Supporter job license really does nerf a lot of the total impact this pilot's going to have because, you know, it's not really going to pack much of a punch. It's definitely, you know, supporter. High mobility, long range, both of those are useful tertiary tags. High mobility activates a ton of really neat traits across the board along a multitude of parts. So, all right. Long range, a nice tertiary tag, pretty easy to get your hands on. Activates some traits, not too many. All right. Statistically, about 2,000 shot attack or so, which for a 3-star is really, really solid. Like, that's actually really solid for a 3-star. And then melee's like 1,200 or whatever, a little less, 1,150. All right. Overall, yeah. As far as 3-stars go, statistically very well spread out. The trait, it has promise if the mod was higher. I'm looking forward to seeing how that gets explored. And the and the tags are workable. Oh. I need to remember to take like a spoonful of honey before I do the streams. Talking so much. All right. And our last pilot here, Quatre Reburba winner, Endless Waltz version. Man, that is a mouthful of a name. That's a lot of syllables. All right. Statistically, what are we working with? Oh, wow, okay. So he's an infighter, so that's really good right out of the gate. 2,300 base melee attack, and then we're looking at about 800 change carryover. So we're looking at a total like 3,200 or so melee attack. That is a lot of punch. And then when you add in the job license, right, that's gonna be like 3,600. That's crazy good. Shot attack, a little more on the token side, 1,500. Definitely better than we've seen in some more 4-star melee-centric pilots. But honestly, cool stuff. Close combat, 4 base word tags. Close combat is a very powerful tertiary tag to have on an infighter or just a general melee suit, right? You want pro tag for the 10% boost. You want mobile fighter for the 10% boost. And then you have that tertiary tag you got to think about. Close combat, excessively available, activates a absolute horde of traits. Like, there's so many that are activated by close combat. Yeah, good stuff. And then 4 base, it's a 4-line. I died them. No. All right, and your trait when attacking with physical EX skill power boosted by 30%. There are a metric fuck ton of physical melee EX skills in the pool. However, do keep in mind, this is just physical. You could backslot this pilot and do a physical shot and still get this EX skill power boost, which is really good. Because that means things like the Strike Noir backpack, right? And that's already really powerful. Anyways, overall, I like that the trait's a little more on the agnostic side. You can use it in a shot or a melee build, the restriction being physical versus beam instead of melee versus shot. And the 30% EX skill power boost is extremely high. The only higher that we see is 35 and 40%, which is typically from Sokai limited build projects, right? So, good stuff. It's actually not a bad pilot. Got decent stats, really neat. Tags, good EX skill or trait, so awesome across the board there. Oh yeah, did you is it still plugged into the TV?
It's somewhere. I know. I don't. Like, yeah, here it is.
Yeah, I thought it was still plugged in. All right, let's take a look at those Twitter videos.
Oh, I didn't know if it was streaming. That's awkward.
Yeah, that's why the light's on.
Hey, whatever.
All right, let's take a look at our Gundam. I didn't realize I had the Twitter thing going the whole time. Oh well. Yeah, shirtless. I'm about to be demonetized. How horrific. Alright, so hold on. What was that first EX skill? So this is the legs. Physical shot. It's a funnel physical. Okay. And then we have the arms, which is just an excessively long cutscene. Like, okay. And that's it. All right. Really nothing to see there, which is kind of depressing, actually. I don't know why, but I was expecting more from that. That was kind of a letdown, honestly. But the funnel looks pretty interesting. All right, let's take a look at our new machine. Now, for everyone that hasn't seen me talk about alterations. So when it comes to alterating a part, there's pretty much the guaranteed changes are stats and EX skill / trait. Word tags are unchanged. With that in mind, I tend to look at those when I look at an alternated part. However, with the recent addition of 7-star suits as of the beginning of this year, looking at stats has become effectively worthless, as 7-star suits have their stats manually made. So, I guess manually created. So, there's no way to really predict, you know, how good they are against each other, because the next suit could just be infinitely better. Long and short, I don't look at the stats for 7 stars. It's just a time-wasting endeavor, in my opinion. I look at the EX skill, I look at the trait, see what the guaranteed improvements are, and when it comes to the word tags, I look at them here because I didn't look at it earlier. It should be noted that we have less than 5 examples on record where alternating a part does drastically change the stats that, you know, it gets. So I recommend, before you invest, always check to make sure the post-alteration stats are what you're looking for, but it's a safe assumption that it will, you know, just improve across the board. Anyways, lots of talking. Let's take a look at parts. Noggin. When shot defense is over 10,000, which is really easy to do, that's very achievable, initial EX skill charge boosted 20%. So that's a pretty useful thing. Initial EX skill charge boost, that can be pretty useful. Cool beans. And while Gundam type, all power boosted by 35%. Gundam type is extremely easy to get your hands on, whether you're doing shot or melee. So that's awesome stuff. You do get the 35% all power boost, which is crazy good. And with the first trait, shot defense over 10k, both melee and shot suits will break 10k shot defense without much difficulty once you get up to kind of a medium-high area, even just medium at this point, I think, with power creep. So that's not going to be an issue. Initial EX skill charge boost, awesome. All power boosted, awesome. Good stuff. Not obviously the best we've seen on a part, but honestly, this is like high tier, mid-high tier kind of in there. That's good stuff. Good combination. Gundam type Ace exclusive word tags. Gundam type, like I said, available on dozens of parts, hundreds of parts, thousands of parts. It's super easy to get, no problem. Ace exclusive, best tag you could ask for a shot machine right beside, what is Ace exclusive? Was it Federation? My brain's drawing a blank on the second, but anyways, yeah, one of the 2 top tags for shot. Good stuff. All right, cool stuff. And yeah, this is actually a big suit as well, meaning if you collect all of the parts for the suit frame and alternate all of the parts, your suit will actually become bigger in battle, as that's kind of the gimmick for big parts. Big stats, mediocre traits, EX skills compared to the normal sizes, but you get that big form when you alternate. All right, torso. When armor is 40% or more, EX skill cooldown reduced by 20%. So just, don't get hit. When ace exclusive, buff EX skill effect up 30%. So ace exclusive, super easy to get your hands on, especially as a shot machine. Buff EX skill effect up 30%. The way that the math works for this game, whenever there's a buff, like let's say it's 29%, this will just flat add 30 onto that, so it becomes 59%. A little bit ridiculous, but that's how they decided to do it. So yeah, EX skill cooldown reduction of 20%. That's awesome. Like, there's only one mod high. I think it's like 23% is the highest mod we have for that, and this is the next highest, so great. And the buff EX skill effect, you know what? 30% is a really high modifier for it, and you're probably going to be running ace exclusive anyways with this machine, so cool. Obviously, if you're running a melee suit and you wanted that cooldown reduction, you absolutely could, but the buff's EX skill effect up, you probably won't get, because running ace exclusive on a melee suit's kind of gimping it. Gundam type ace exclusive tags again. Torso, pretty okay. Arms, funnel missile combo. After firing funnel missiles, perform a high-speed attack with sabers in each hand. Raise shot attack for your squad by 39%. All shot skill cooldowns instantly down 29%. A+A bindable cutscene. Okay, long and short, yeah, this is your bog standard post-power creep limited super skill. It doesn't scale up into the SSS range, however, it gives a hefty shot attack boost of 39%, but the big draw is the cooldown of all shot skills by 28%, meaning if you slap this onto one of your supporter suits and have them use it, bada bing bada boom, there you go, cooldown reductions across the board. It's kind of crazy, honestly. Thing is, with this really high pierce and high power, this skill will still hit really, really hard. Yeah. Purely numbers-wise, cool stuff, but the animation was really kind of... didn't really do anything for me, Commander, that's the other tag. Anyways, word tag, Gundam type, Commander. So you have Ace exclusive, you have Commander, and those are your two top shot tags. So, cool stuff. Legs, the other EX skill of this suit. Fire funnel missiles to hit foes in all directions. You can move freely while it's active. So, this is actually just a standard funnel. This is our second physical shot funnel in the game, I believe. However, it should still use the shot modifiers, even with A+ pierce, B+ power. Do keep in mind that funnels, the way that they work in GBM, scale purely off of how many funnels actually, are launched. Let's take a quick look at how many, I believe it was 6 for this suit. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So, when it comes to funnels, hey Brudax, the issue with funnels in this game is, at least shot funnels, is they just don't do enough damage for the amount of time that they're deployed. Long and short, even though this has A+ pierce, B+ power, and it's going to hit hard, it attacks in intervals with its 6 funnels at the same amount, like the same interval as, for example, Kshatriya arms, which launch, 14 to 16 bits, right? So even though this may have a higher distribution of outgoing damage, it hits 6 times, whereas the Kshatriya hits, over twice that amount of times. And that's kind of the biggest issue with funnels, is it's not really properly scaled to the amount of actual hittables that get launched. So even though it's a physical shot, even though the pierce and power is really high distribution, because it only launches 6 bits to actually do anything, it's just not going to do it, man. Like, they really need to fix the way that funnels work in this game, at least shot funnels, because there's so many really cool funnels I want to use, but they're just completely worthless because they don't do enough damage, right? And that's why the Moon Gundam backpack is still so friggin' powerful, is because the melee modifier is so high that even though it only attacks twice every cycle, each of those hits is like 10 to 12 bits worth of damage. And that's like the huge disparity issue that we have with funnels in this game. So, is what it is. On paper, really good. In practice, because it only launches 6 bits, use it if you like the suit. That's pretty much all I'm going to say. Gundam type commander tags, again, good stuff. Anything good this week? So far, Broodaxe, the welfare is really interesting. It has some really cool traits. So far, our new limited Gundam is okay. Nothing jaw-dropping. Alright, backpack. With beam resistance over 5,000, shooting power boosted by 40%. Your beam resist will go over 4K. You don't have to worry about that. Just look at the shooting power boost. Melee attack down 20%, so you're going to be doing 20% less melee damage outgoing. Enemy shooting cut minus 40%. Time for a huge slew of words. So, a recent addition to the game is this enemy X cut minus percent. So, enemy melee cut minus 40%, enemy shooting cut, enemy EX skill cut, all these. What these are is meant to counter skills such as enemy shooting power reduced by 30%. That's what these are meant to counter and remove. So if the enemy is packing a 100% melee damage reduction, you can bring that down. However, what Bandai forgot to do was add a total floor to this. So with enemy shooting cut minus 40%, if they did not bring a reduction of 40%, the number goes into the negatives. So they actually get a debuff to these. In other words, the proper way to read this is shooting power boosted by 40%, because that's effectively what this is doing for you. So at the end of the day, this part is 2 shooting power boosted by 40%, and all you have to trade is 20% less melee damage going out from you, which who cares, you're running a shot machine, and you have over 5,000 beam resist, which is going to be really easy to do. Honestly, that backpack, really good trait combination, very easy to activate both of those. So far, this is my favorite part of the suit, purely because of what it brings. Gundam type Ace exclusive tags, cool stuff. Alright, let's take a look at our shield. While Commander, which you're going to run on a shot suit, EX skill power boosted by 40%. Nice. When armor is 60% or more, don't get hit. EX skill piercing boosted by 35%. This is one of those really nice kind of like symbiotic trait parts where one trait feeds into the other and kind of individually good. Together, real good. And that's pretty much what this is. You're getting a huge power boost and a huge piercing. Remember, the way piercing works is it adds to the total amount of enemy defense and resistances that your skills will ignore when using them, or your attack type damage. So, in this case, you were doing 40% more damage, and they are losing whatever 35% worth of resistances works out to with the damage formula, because we still don't have a damage formula. We have no idea how it works, but this combination's really good. Good stuff. Shield and the backpack seem to be kind of the aces for this suit, although I wonder about the gun. All right, let's take a look at our dual-ended beam saber. With speed attribute self, again, 5 parts that are speed, easy to do. EX skill cooldown reduced by 23%. That's the highest mod that we have in the game. Cool stuff. While Commander, again, you're probably running a shot suit with this beam saber. EX skill power boosted by 40%. This is another really good symbiotic combination. EX skill cooldown gets a 23% reduction and a 40% power boost. Gundam type commander tags, no complaints there. And our beam rifle. Melee attack down 10%, so you're doing 10% less melee damage outgoing. Initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%. Cool. Melee attack down 10% more. Sure, whatever, you're a shot suit. Shooting power boosted by 35%. Alright, Gundam type Ace exclusive. So, very interesting. The first few parts were neat. I liked the head the most out of those first handful of parts. And then we got to the backpack, which was really, really nice. We got to the shield, which is also pretty damn good. And now we're at the gun, which is also nice. Honestly, Backpack, shield, sword, gun, all of those, pretty damn nice. None of them are like jaw-dropping, amazing, like you need to get this kind of thing, because most of these parts, these traits, are reflected in other suits we've already gotten up to this point. But if you lack a powerful 7-star suit, you might want to roll on this, because it's not bad for a shot machine. It does round itself out pretty well. It has a interesting slew of traits available to it. Yeah, EX skills kind of neat. The chest was really good, you think? Like, the problem I have is pretty much just that second trait of the buff EX skill effect up. It's not bad. Like, 30% is a very healthy boost. Like, I'm not going to try to argue that. But I feel almost like it might have been better if it was just like a shooting power boost of 40% or an EX skill power boost of 40%. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it's not like, you know, amazing kind of deal. You know, but that's kind of the entire suit, right? It's not amazing, it's good, you know? The backpack, I think, is still the best, just because it's a very powerful trait boost to your stuff for practically for free at the end of the day. So that's the way I look at it, right? Overall, the new limited Gundam, okay. It's another limited power creep suit. Cool stuff. And that's pretty much all that there is to say about it. All right. Well, with that, gang, will you be rolling on the suit for the meme-worthy gigantic part? Nah, man. Like, I'm pretty much just saving everything at this point for the anniversary. We're way too close to the anniversary to start blowing haro chips on stuff, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure buff EX skill ends up giving way bigger numbers than shooting power at the end of the day, though. So it's like, because it's all additive, it doesn't matter. So if I have an EX skill that gives me 29% shooting power boost, and then I get this part that goes, hey, or, you know, the 30% up, it goes to 59%, cool. Thing is, if I have that same thing that's, you know, 29%, and then I have a part that gives 40%, it goes up to 69%, which is 10% higher than 59. Because it's all additive, that's kind of the issue, right? There's no complicated math involved here. It's literally just a game of numbers. Now, if it boosts more than just an offensive stat, like let's say it boosts your melee attack and your melee defense, overall, it might give a better value to you for sure, because your defense then carries over with your change gear and technically adds more to it. But that then still falls into, is that 10% really going to carry over enough? Because it's a 10% extra carryover versus another part. There's just math, and I don't feel like napkin mathing at all. But it's not bad. Like, I'm not saying the chest is bad. I'm just saying I think personally it might have been better with a more offensive thing. But even then, it would still be outshone by the backpack, just because the backpack is really, really powerful for free, right? That's kind of the whole bit. Anyways, with that, gang, I believe we're wrapped up, ready to head out and all that fun stuff. Gone over the new suits, gone over the new pilots, looked at the alterations, Twitter videos, all that fun stuff, which is actually kind of rare. Normally the Twitter videos aren't available, but they are here. Anyways, I'm going to wrap up, head out. Yeah, I'm contemplating doing a stream this weekend, maybe later this week. I'm not sure yet. I say that quite often. Like, I was going to do the FGO stream last week, and it just didn't pan out. Yeah, things happen. Anyways, peace out, guys. I will see you in the next stream, and if you're rolling, good luck. Peace out.